Hello, this is Kirill from forexboat.com and welcome back to the course on testing and optimization in MetaTrader 4. In today's tutorial, we will be talking about importing data into MetaTrader 4. So there are three main ways of importing historical data into the platform, and these are using the home key, using MetaQuotes data, and using third-party data. So let's go ahead and start with the first one, using the home key. If we open any chart, let's say Canadian dollar, Japanese yen, as you can see, it's waiting for update, meaning that the initial data is loading and the chart hasn't been opened before. So what we want to do here is we want to unclick auto scroll. We want to go to tools, options. In options, we want to set in the charts tab, you want to set max bars and history to the maximum, max bars and chart to the maximum as well. That will make sure that MetaTrader 4 is not restricting you from downloading any data. So you click OK, and if you go to Tools, Options again, you'll see that MetaTrader 4 has automatically changed these values to the maximum. We're going to go back, and here we're going to scroll to the left, and what you'll see is that first the scrolling is quite smooth, but then it becomes chunky like now. And what that means is that we've reached the edge of our downloaded data, or the end, and whenever we scroll more to the left, MetaTrader 4 is requesting additional data from the trade server. And you can check that by going to the History Center, not that one. If you go to Tools, History Center, or just click F2 on your keyboard and you go to the Canadian Japanese yen currency pair, you'll see that the 1 hour time frame is highlighted, meaning that only for this time frame we have received data. So if you go here and you go to the bottom, you'll see that the latest we have right now is July 2013. Let's close that and let's scroll a bit more. And now we go back, Tools, History Center, and if we scroll down, now we can see that it's May 2013. So we can take advantage of that and download data from the History Center or from the trade server by let's look at an example of the 15-minute time frame. By just clicking the home button. The home button just does exactly the same as scrolling to the left. Just make sure you have this auto scroll unchecked, because otherwise that'll interfere with your process of scrolling to the left. So if I'm holding the home key down right now, and as you can see, the chart is flying through the dates, meaning more and more data is being downloaded. And of course, at some point you will hit a limit, and that's just because there isn't any more data on the trade server. The trade servers tend to delete data that's too old, not because they're trying to hide something, but because it's inefficient for them to store large volumes of data. It can significantly impact their bandwidth if all of the traders will start downloading it, and that can impact processing times of your orders, and we don't want that. And also just make sure you've zoomed out to the maximum. That allows you to scroll through the data faster. So you can see here I've gone quite far. I've gone all the way to October 2012. Usually there'll be a restriction of, depending on the chart time frame, maybe a year or maybe several months. So in this case, it's about 2 years, which is quite generous on the broker side, and you can't go any further. That's a very simple method, and if you can get sufficient data for your testing that way, then please go ahead. That is probably the most accurate data that you will get, because it is actually from your broker. Do bear in mind that if you are using the every tick model, then you have to do this process for all of the time frames that are below the time frame where you're going to be testing. So that includes M1, M5, M15, and so on, all the way up to your designated time frame. So that was the first way of downloading data. Let's look at the other one. So now we have the MetaQuotes data. The MetaQuotes data implies that we get data from MetaQuotes. So if we go to History Center and we pick a currency pair here, which I haven't looked at, for example, Euro, Australian dollar, go to the 1 minute time frame. As you can see, it's empty. Right now, a bit of data will download from the broker. But what we can do here is we can click this download button. It'll give us a warning saying that we're about to download data from the MetaQuotes Software Corporation History Center, but our account is open with somebody else. That just basically means that there will be discrepancies between the two data sets, and so you have to take that into account, because it can significantly affect your expert advisors when testing them on small time frames. However, if you are planning on testing on higher time frames, then generally that shouldn't really impact your expert advisors, and it could give you a good indicative result of what you can expect. That's because Forex is a common market, and even though there can be slight fluctuations, generally the trends should be very similar even in different data sets, and you can use that to advantage. However, do be careful when using the MetaQuotes data. All right, so that took a couple of minutes. For me, I think it took about 10 or maybe even 15 minutes. It is quite a lengthy process, but if you scroll down here, you'll see that we have 1 minute data for this currency pair all the way from 2004, which is incredible. It's over 10 years of data, and that should be plenty for any kind of test and analysis. So now what you can do is if you click download again, click OK, what will happen is that because all of this data is already downloaded, and this is an interesting trick in MetaTrader 4, all of this data is already downloaded, and if you do it like right away, that means that there's no new bars that are expected to come in. Then you'll get this message saying that there are no new data for symbol euro, Australian dollar. Do you want to recalculate all the time frames? And here you click yes, and what that will do is it will actually recalculate all of the time frames for this currency pair. And if you go to any of the time frames, you'll see that you have this data from 2004. So there you go. There, once again, there it is. And any time frame of this currency pair, it's all there, and it's all being calculated from the 1 minute time frame. That's why it's good to download the 1 minute time frame first. So there you go. That's how you get a lot of data for your indicative testing in MetaTrader 4. And I repeat, indicative, because the results of these back tests can be different to what you'll see on your real servers. However, that's not always the case, and sometimes this method is appropriate. So I think that's enough for today. We've covered the first two methods, and in the next tutorial we'll talk about importing third-party data into MetaTrader 4. Thanks for watching, and I look forward to seeing you on the next tutorial. Until then, happy trading.